Hello everybody, it's Aaron. Welcome to another episode of Feed the Beast. I want to do something very specific today. I want to automate the industrial grinder, the automatic canning machine, and the centrifuges to process the ferrous ore. And I think I'm going to use two centrifuges for this, and then we'll use the other one for maybe redstone or something. Before we get to that, I made a couple of changes. I made a dedicated tier 5 blaze farm. Literally a minute after I start recording, the phone always goes off. Sorry about that. I made a dedicated tier 5 blaze farm to power the boilers. And I wasn't sure how it was going to do. But if you look in here, I'm still gaining blaze rods. This is about 2 days worth. So I wasn't generating enough planks to run both of these, but I generate more than enough blaze rods. So I don't think that another one would give quite enough power to run the AE system, which would be pretty cool. So I'm not going to worry about that. A couple of other changes, or I guess one more, I don't know. Let me sleep. I should have done that before I started the episode. My apologies. I actually unhooked the two of the fermenters, or two of the stills rather. 9 was just keeping up, and 7 seemed to work a little better. But I have it all disconnected right now. And I don't remember. I think I just turned off the liquiducts. Basically, I want to see how much of this I eat in a 2 or 3 day period. It hasn't gone down that far. Also, can't forget this. This is where we're going to be working today anyway. I can show you this later. I added the mid-tier industrial craft machines to do a lot of this stuff that the thermal expansion machines were doing. And eventually, I'm going to replace the ore processor, I think. I'm still on the fence about that one since it makes a different type of ore than the IC2 machines do. But I have put in the recipes for like all the things that just need to be cooked once. So I can get resin from the slime balls, glass if I need it. And then over here we've got sand, obviously, and coal dust and diamond dust. These things that need to be compressed. There is a problem with this, the iridium. I have another pattern in there for an iridium ingot made from 9 nuggets. So if I request an iridium ingot, the system tries to make one with nuggets rather than send one here. So I'm not sure how I'm going to handle that. I'm not sure at all. I don't know. What I may have to do is just put an export bus right here and have it process all the iridium, all the uranium, and these guys. I could probably pull it off doing it on demand. And then what have we got here? Just the rubber, since that's the extractor. I am going to set up a rotary macerator right here, and I guess we can probably actually do that if I have some sand. I think I can make some. Let's just take this one. I've got all this stuff in here, and basically, let me make a piece of sand before I hook it all up, because it's going to take just a second. We're going to need the export bus, which will go on top. The import bus will go on, well, we'll call it the front, whatever side it is. And then we're going to need cable here and cable here, and then the level emitter we will put right there. And I messed up and hooked that up. That's exactly what I didn't want to do, because I need that sand to set a rule in here. Let's see, so we have 570 sand. I want you to remember this number. So what the level emitter does, it emits or does not emit a redstone signal based on the number of items you have in a system. So I want to emit a redstone signal when levels are below 640. And I mean, you can type a bunch. So let's say you want to keep this much cobble. You hook up your export bus. I believe you can hook it straight up to a void pipe. When this thing comes on, it gives a redstone signal. You tell your export bus active with signal, and then whenever your cobblestone goes over this amount, it will have the export bus kick it out into the void pipe. So I want to do, if I have 640 or less sand, I want a redstone signal. And since that is the case, we have a redstone signal. Now if I bump this down to 512, the thing turns off because we have 570. So I want this, anytime I have less than 640 sand in the system, I want it to send cobblestone to the macerator. And it's already started. And this thing will actually fill up. So we'll end up with probably, I don't know, 680 something, give or take, before the red light turns off. But I found myself never having enough sand. The macerator is one of the slower machines as compared to the induction furnace over there. So I thought that I would set this up to always keep a certain amount of sand in the system. And once we get 640, this thing should turn off, and it takes there's a little bit of lag. It takes like a second or two after it's actually in the system. If I had a monitor down here, we could watch that, but I'm not really too worried about it. And I took away the corner so I can't walk up the ladder anymore. So we don't quite have 640 sand yet. That's why the thing is still on. So what I did was, how empowering all that, I put solar down there, or over there rather. I've been running the matter fab 24/7, as one should. And I've got 2 ultimate hybrids, and then 7 more hybrids right here. And I'll probably be able to make one later on today, and then I'll make a 3rd ultimate solar. I saved a few of these, and I put them right down here to run the machines downstairs, and maybe applied energistics at some point. So I've got 3 solars generating 64 each. They've got their internal buffer basically full most of the time. I have an MFE on the other end of this cable, and if we go back in here, I'll just show you. There's our MFE, and then this is a low voltage transformer. There was a lot of debate a while back about whether or not this transformer, whether you needed to output it on more than one side. Essentially what it does is it takes one packet of 128 EU and knocks it into 4 packets of 32, which the low voltage machines can use. And if you do a reading on it, 13 EU per tick, and that seems to be steady whether or not the machines are working or not. I can live with that. It's about, I don't know, a little under 3 per machine maybe. I don't know. See, this is still going. If we give that a second, it actually might go down. Actually, I think I need to do that one. Yeah, 12 in. So, I don't know, it's around 2 or 3 per machine. Not that much, not that big of a deal. So I'm going to tear down the industrial grinder up there and reset it up down here. The thing will actually work on all 4 sides. You can put one grinder on each side of the casing. So I figured I would put it maybe right here. I don't think there's anything else over here. No, there's not. I figure I'll put it right here so I can access all four sides of the machine if I want to make another grinder or two. I haven't used it for anything other than the Ferrous. We've got an AMI cable right here, just so happens to be conveniently located. So all I'll have to do is, I'll probably actually just pop, I was going to pop another MFE right there, but I think what I'll do is I'll split the fiber and run it this way, and then pop an MFE down there dedicated to the grinder because it needs 128, kind of like the industrial blast furnace. And then I'll also split off with another low voltage transformer and a bat box to run the centrifuges because they don't really take much at all. So let me tear these guys down, and then I'll come back and we'll set them up. I want to see what they use. 6 EU. That's no big deal. You can run probably 4 of those off a geothermal on a bat box. I don't know about the canning machine. If I have an empty cell, we can try it. I don't have any empty cell. Oh, I do. Here we go. Let's see. That one doesn't seem to matter what side it goes in. Yeah, that's a relatively low power machine as well. So we can run all of these off one bat box. That won't be an issue. So I'm going to let these guys finish their cycles and go ahead and tear this down while that's happening. And then once I've got it done, we'll set everything up downstairs. So I'll see you guys in just a minute. Okay guys, I have run the cable and I actually am going to disconnect one of them because I don't want the thing to have power yet. I want to try it out before we add power to it. And since the cells have to go in the bottom of this, I think I'm going to have to run the power into the side. Right, like that. I think that'll work. I don't know if it needs to be one level lower or not. Yeah, let's move it down one. Alright, so we'll make that the front. And I figured I'd go ahead and set this up while recording, in case you guys don't know how to set this thing up. And I've only done it once, so hopefully I remember. You have to put your standard casing on the top and bottom, and the reinforced casing in the middle with the water block right in the center of the structure. So we'll put these guys right here. And I need that there. Put the water in here. And if you look at this thing, it tells you, this is kind of a diagram. This is this is probably the bottom, this is the middle layer, and this is the top. And it'll tell you if you don't have it right. That's the one good thing about it, I guess. Now we're all set with that. So I don't have any buses or anything. I'll tell you what, let's make a monitor to put down here, or a terminal rather. And then we can get whatever we need out of the system without having to run back and forth upstairs. And I was going to say we'll just pop it right there, but that's not exactly connected. Let's do it right here. How about that? Yep, there we go. So we're going to need, I'll just grab 2 export buses for now. We're going to need some more import buses. Let's do 3 of those. And some cable. And let's just go ahead and make this cook. So let's see, we're going to need an export bus on the bottom. And my rationality for this is if we don't tell it to craft the cells, it'll only use whatever empty cells we have in our inventory. So we're going to put the export bus there. We're going to put one on top and an import bus here, and then we have to fill in the cable around it. And hopefully it'll just connect right up. And if I can reach that one, I can. I do have some empty cells. What we'll do is we'll tell this thing to put cells in, and we'll see what happens. The cells go to the bottom. We'll tell the top one to take the ferrous. Nothing should be in there because we don't have any in the system right now. As soon as I put it in there, bam, there it goes. So that is good. Now I do have a recipe in here for the cells, which is why I didn't want to tell this thing to craft, because I don't want it to just take 10 and keep the thing full of cells. When I do the centrifuge for redstone, that might happen, but right now I'm not going to do it for this project specifically. So this is empty right now. Well, no, it's not. Take the rest of our cells. We'll throw them all back into the system. I bet that 13 came from when I had the craft button clicked for just a second. And I just realized we don't want empty cells there, we want mercury cells there. So let me fix that. That has to go with a mercury cell or it's not going to do us any good. So let's take those out. We should fill up with mercury cells. Okay, cool. So that's going to work. I'm going to go ahead and connect the cable. And I probably ought to throw the MFE down somewhere. Let's throw it right here. And we'll get rid of one more cable. We'll let it charge up a little bit since the thing needs, I want to say it needs 128 exactly. Or so much overall. I'm not really sure. I just read the wiki, but it just said it needed 128 exactly. I guess we can see if it works. It looks like it is. And as the things get crafted, they should automatically get pulled back into the system. So now we can put our low voltage transformer, which I have already crafted, right here. And let's see, what's the best way to do this? The cool thing about AE is you don't have to have your systems in line. Like with BuildCraft pipes, you have to come out of the top of one and then go into the side of the other. Or come out of the side and go into the top, rather. But you don't have to put your machines in any specific order for this. So that's good. I just need to decide where these things go because I have to input from well, I have to hook up all three of these, and I guess I just have to leave space in between. Let's look at the canning machine. I'll just build the wall back if I need to. Canning machine doesn't matter, so we're going to have to test that a little bit. So let's run some ME cable right here. And this one does take empty cells, so this one we actually can do that. We'll put our export bus right there. Let's just take a bunch of them. Canning machine, cell. I want to see if it fills up the second slot as well. Let's make it move stacks. Doesn't have enough. So it only fills up the one. Now if I put Quicksilver in there, I wonder if it'll put the Quicksilver in the other slot. No. Okay. Let's put an import bus on top, if I can. We'll just do it this way. Or export bus, rather. It probably fills from the other side. So let's take Quicksilver out of here, and we'll put it in this one on the top. So that fills that slot. So I wonder if I fill them both from the top. We'll do cells here, and we'll do Quicksilver here. Dump all those back into the system. Okay, so the top is definitely this slot, and the left side is definitely this slot. It doesn't matter which is which for this situation. So I'm going to go ahead and load the cells on the left. Actually, let's load them up there, and the Quicksilver will go on the top. So that ought to fill up with both. Yep, okay. And the other ones, I'm fairly positive that since we don't have to put any cells in them, we're only extracting from the sides and inputting from the top. So let's see if I can get away with just doing... Actually, I'll just put them right next to each other since we're not putting anything from the bottom of these, and they're specifically for the Ferrous processing. We'll just put them like that. We can put our bat box right there facing upward, and then we can run our fiber cable under the bottom of them. Actually, let's make one more minor change. I just thought about this. I want to be able to put the import bus on the sides, and I'm probably going to need 2 spaces in between them because we're going to need 2 import buses. Alright, so there we go. We're going to need import bus there and there. And then we're going to need an export bus on the top of each, and ME cable in between. So we take some platinum dust and we tell the export buses, do that into the top of that one. We tell that one, do that into the top of that one. There it goes. And I'm going to assume that you can pull everything from each of these slots out one side of the centrifuge. But like I said, I haven't tested this, so I don't know if that is the case or not. But hopefully we will find out shortly. I must be out of ferrous. This thing actually works pretty quickly if you don't have to take all the nickel out. So I am out of ferrous. I have plenty of Quicksilver. 16 cells, and that's full. I forgot to put my import bus on the side of this one. I don't want to move all the machines, so I'm just going to put it on the front. And after everything finishes its cycle, I'll just, if I want to move anything around, I will. I just wanted to get the basic, oh, are you kidding me? I bet I have to pull it out of the right. That's okay. Well, I'm going to let these guys finish. And then we'll leave the appropriate amount of space in between. So I'm going to let these guys finish and move these things around a little bit, and then I'll be back with you when I'm actually done. So I'll see you guys back in just another minute. Okay guys, here's what we look like now. I basically just moved everything over one space. I let these guys finish, and the import buses did pull out the iridium nugget that is put up here, and the tiny pile of, I guess it's nickel. So it looks like you can pull everything out of one side of this. And I didn't hook it up yet because I wanted to see what happens. We've got 61 in there right now. We hook it up. Hello. Don't tell me I have to pull out of the bottom of that. I already set those guys up, but I didn't put it back in the system yet because I wanted to try this first. So let's try this. I'm not going to be happy if I have to take that out of the bottom because that kind of makes wiring a little bit more challenging. But I'll play ball. We'll see what happens. We'll just run this straight over like that. Well, maybe it's out of the back. That is the import bus, right? It is. If it's out of the back, I'm going to love it because, well, there's a little hole there, so I'm going to assume that that's what that means. Alright, so let's just put another piece of cable up here. There they go. Excellent. Okay. So canning machine, inputs on the left and the top, maybe the right as well. I didn't try that, but you have to pull everything out of what is considered the back of the machine. And I'm actually okay with that because I can keep my wiring like that. Not that it's very pretty anyway, but, you know, it's there. And since this is just a machine room, I'm not really concerned with aesthetics necessarily. Like I said, I think I said in the last episode or two, I wish I had discovered applied energistics before I started Greg Tech, or discovered the full potential of it before I discovered Greg Tech, or this base, so I could have planned the whole base around the AE system. So there you have it. We got mercury cells and ferrous that go in here, and then when the dust gets taken out, it goes into the centrifuges, which it's not in the system right now. We'll put it back in there. It should split it between the two. Looks like it does. So everything gets processed in the centrifuges, and then it pulls out the iridium nugget and the tiny pile of nickel dust. And this is set to fill up with quicksilver and empty cells. And the only empty cells we are ever going to have in the system will come from here. After we grind the ferrous with the mercury cell, it gives us the empty cell back. It gets kicked back into the system. So basically I'm just recycling the same stack and a half of cells or whatever. And I may put a few more in there, but I think that's going to work for now. So it's not pretty, but in theory, all of this should work together, and I won't have to manually do this anymore. It's very tedious. It's a long process. These take, I think, 150 seconds a piece, and the nickel fills up in the industrial grinder rather quickly, and you have to constantly empty that. So this is going to be a lot easier for me because I don't have to touch any of the stuff. So now that we know the principle for this, the centrifuge, I think I'm going to move one down here for redstone, and I don't remember what I need to do that for, but I know that I do. I think I might need to do bauxite as well. Let me find my centrifuge recipe in here. silicon cells for the plates. Oh, I get mercury cells from that too. Okay, well, look at the time though, 1100 seconds and 150 seconds. Or actually, less than that because it's however long the canning machine takes. So anyway, we have our process. I may set up another centrifuge, like I said, for bauxite or redstone or whatever I feel like I might need to automate a little bit. And I'll probably just run it off the same power infrastructure and ME cable that we have down here, rather than run it all over the room upstairs. So that's going to do it for this episode. If you guys have any questions or comments or even suggestions, please leave them down below. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.